They're an independent body. If they wanted to make a assessment about different charges, they could have done that. But our recommendation was that Mattingly and Cosgrove were justified in their acts and their conduct.
One officer was charged with reckless endangerment for firing wantonly into the apartment, but the failure to charge anyone with killing Breonna Taylor has led to about a week's worth of protests here in Louisville. More than 200 people arrested and 2 police officers shot and wounded. Right now, the governor has said he has lifted the curfew and there are no plans to activate the National Guard. Harris, back to you.
Assessment about different charges. They could have done that, but our recommendation, different charges, they could have done that, but our recommendation, 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 recommendation.
Hey, how's y'all doing again? This is your host, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. This is Black Minds News Live Report. Today's day is October the 6th, 2020, and want to welcome each and every one of you who should happen to be in the house. What's good, fam? Passerbys as well, and my new subscribers. What's good, everybody? Passerby, you happen to pass by through to the thumbnail or maybe the title of the show. Welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of the YouTube. Go down the aisle. We always have a grand opening. Happen to see something that make you feel some kind of way. Remember, the motto of my show is the truth. Don't need no partner. Oh, some of y'all probably said, man, Mr. Blow Your Mind, what time? What, you come on at 8 now? I came on 8 today. But we got to get, the show got to keep going, so we got to do what we got to do, right? So I want to thank each and every one of you for clicking on the video. Thank you as you're passing by and coming through. Now, as you see, we're going to go ahead and get into that the thumbnail that you came on that you see, right? So you see that this is the thumbnail of today's show. It's going to be about, there's a second grand juror who wants to speak out on the Breonna Taylor's case, right? Since the revealing of those who, I haven't put all of them out, but I put at least 7 of them, right? There's more to come as I'm uploading a lot of that. But if you did hear, there's been some discrepancy as to what you've been hearing prior to the releasing, but people still steadfast in their position about what they said originally and still trying to hold their position, right? And so who's taking the blunt of this? It would be those who are the grand juror, right? Because that's who they were put on, right? So what I'm going to do, based on some of the stuff I did see, so what I'm going to do is there was an article that I seen about these jurors here. So let me go ahead and let you see what I'm talking about here, right? And we got that set up on me, sir? All right, go ahead and set that up, right? Okay, so you see that on your screen there, right? Yeah, see on there, Christopher 2X, second grand juror, expresses concerns with Breonna Taylor's case. Let me say that again. Christopher 2X, right? Second grand juror expresses concern with Breonna Taylor's case. And so again, they talk about how in Louisville, Kentucky, that there's expressing concern with the proceedings of the Breonna Taylor's case, right? A lot of people are expressing, a lot of stuff has been coming out. Again, they're still steadfast in their position. But we see that there's a Louisville activist named Christopher 2X, and he's going to state, as I will show you after I talk about this, that he's stating that it's time to lift the silence off the grand juries or jurors, right? 2X has said this during the Sunday press conference on Sunday, right? Now, according to what it is stated in this article that I had read was the fact that they said one grand juror has already filed a lawsuit, which is how we end up getting the release of those who are listening to those grand jury tapes or audio recordings. And he said, as 2X is his name, said that he received phone calls this weekend regarding another juror with concerns. So we're seeing that the unraveling of what we are told is a secrecy to the grand jury. Now, that is the way that it has always been. But based on, let's say, this case being a kind of a global case, right? I know not everybody outside of the United States, around the world, but everybody has heard and paid some kind of particular attention to it. So we're going to say it's kind of global, right? People know about it, regardless of where you go, or heard of it, right? And so based on that kind of awareness, the murmuring, the people dissatisfied with the outcome, what we have is those who seem to have made that decision, that seem that people may, according to what they thought they heard and what they thought they knew, who's holding the bag as making the decision? It became the grand jurors. And so what you see is those who were sitting there in this proceeding now want to have the freedom to be able to go out here and talk about and elaborate, right? So they also talk about this Christopher 2X. They were trying to get him to elaborate, and who is it that is asking for this, right? So he said, no, I got to keep their anonymity. I'm not out here to, defame them or to bring more unwanted attention already. Then there's enough that people want to know who they are anyway. And that he said that the juror that is talking to him was told that he or she needs to stay silent for now. Okay, say stay silent, so they don't want them talking, right? I want you to stay quiet. Because again, what didn't happen, it's a high fever pitch of people who are dissatisfied with that decision and what has been revealed. And now jurors want to come out and talk. And so they're talking about more about the fact that we're going to hear something from them that you can hear from the audio tape. So what they're saying is the audio tape in itself gives you, for those who have heard, they give you one perspective of what those tapes revealed. But for them as the jurors who sat there and got to see everything and the questions that they posed, you don't get the entirety of that. So one wants to express themselves fully, right? Without any constraints, and don't want to be reprimanded for doing so. So again, as I said about the 15 hours of the grand jury, but originally they said it was 20 hours, right? That was supposed to be in testimony that was supposed to be released publicly. But accordingly, there's more to this story. And many of us who are sifting through, listening intently, trying to put the pieces together, we're coming to that conclusion that there's more to this story than what has been told. And so the jurors want to have this liftoff of the grand jury. And so they want this human aspect to their perspective to be related to the public. And they believe that the audios can't give you that. So also this 2X is urging his community in Louisville that they want them to turn their attention to the federal investigation for the Breonna Taylor case, right? So there's still the FBI part to this case. And they said, well, if you want justice for Breonna, he believes, as an activist, I'm not sure how well known he is, but again, he was in this article, and it's talking about the fact that they can't be afraid to engage with the feds, just like you weren't afraid engaging when it was the Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron. So I say he wants them to kind of trust in the process, right? But again, we as BADOS, Black American Descendants of Slavery, when we talk about trusting, that's a hard thing. Think about that. You being in a situation or a relationship. Somebody break your trust with you, depending on, some people say they call it simps. Right? Some people be simps, and regardless, it can be a used shoe. Just keep reusing them, and they keep going through the same old monotonous. And then there's some people, once you break that trust with them, it's hard and sometimes never going to be able to earn that trust back. And based on we as Black Americans in this country, the trust with us has been broken so much. How does anybody sit here and even want to second guess that when we decide that we're not trying to listen to that nonsense? history will be a great indicator to show that, you know what? We have failed them many times in many different facets of these institutions that we call this United States. So according to, there was 2X, and then there was 2 other who joined him, 2 students, I think they were from the University of Louisville, and they said they had spoke to the FBI Louisville special agents in charge over the phone on that Sunday. And again, they want to use the term or the word transparency. We hear that word, right? Transparency. What does that really mean? We can understand. We can go look it up, get your dictionary, go into Google, and you'll have the word. But what does it mean in application when people keep telling us transparency, transparency? What does that mean? Because when we sat and listened to the press conference, there was times through that press conference where it seemed that with all this technology and money, and supposedly the mantra is the greatest country on the planet, but it can't have clarity when it's time to reveal truth. So we didn't get everything. There was sometimes when it went muzzle, it went some static, or it went out and then came back in. So it's like, wait a minute. This what your business is, why would you have some kind of internet like I got, right? You would have internet like that I would have, right? And then I pay money for my internet too to try to have it is pertaining to what I need done. So if you, and that's your business and you make your money on it, why would you have this kind of staticky, shaky type of internet? But anyway, so transparency just means that there's a good term. It's a kind of a, politically correct word. You're transparent. We're going to let you see everything that we're doing. But when time push come to shove, do we get transparency? So what they're doing, they're intending to organize in the next several weeks. And they hope that the people will sit down with the FBI and let them do the investigation and somehow trust in the process. We as black people in this country, again, we've always tried to be what you say, but we end up getting a bag like on Charlie Brown on Halloween. We come to the door with a bag and you put rocks in our damn bag. Everybody else getting candy or whatever it is, but you throwing rocks in the bag when it's our turn to come to the door. So we're not going to be so trustworthy with you as you like us to be, right? So, how you feel about that, right? Are we so trustworthy that we can say we're going to allow the process to take place? And in this process, they even have a year. They said 2021, we can get all this resolved. Not 2021, right? So, let me go ahead and let you see exactly what they said here in their own words. And, we'll be back right after that. Check this out, and we shall be right back.
An unnamed grand juror in the Breonna Taylor case is asking a judge to be allowed to speak publicly so that the truth may prevail.
My client wants to make sure the truth gets out. My client wants to make sure that anything that happened in there becomes something of public knowledge to the extent it's legally allowed to.
It's appropriate for us to release any information.
Last week, Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron cited an ongoing FBI civil rights investigation for why that information should not become public. But now he says he'll comply with the judge's order to release it by tomorrow. His office says we have no concerns with grand jurors sharing their thoughts on our presentation because we are confident in the case we presented. The officers involved was charged with causing Taylor's death during a botched drug raid in March. Cameron says the actions of 2 other officers were justified because Taylor's boyfriend shot at them first. Last week, as the decision sparked protests across the country, Cameron declined to specify whether his office recommended more serious charges to the grand jury. Now he says the only charge recommended was wanton endangerment.
I do not believe that the Attorney General's office presented the most serious charges to the grand jury. I think that his office made the determination.
A public plea.
It's time to lift the silence off the grand jurors.
Less than a week after a grand juror in Breonna Taylor's case asked a judge to speak out, community activist Christopher 2X says now there's another.
How many more want to feel freely to say, here's my version of what happened with the Breonna Taylor evidence that we was presented with.
2X says they should be able to do.
The tapes are one thing. The tapes can't really probably tell the full story for people to feel full trust.
Our city is angry, and the country is too. And we think that lifting that silence will really help to lift the voices that need to be heard.
U of L doctoral and graduate students Tatiana Wells and Christy Welch joined 2X Sunday just after the group spoke to the FBI's special agent in charge, Robert Brown.
One more eye looking out on the situation, which is important because right now our city is feeling like it's not going to get justice.
The group says the FBI has civil rights attorneys from the Department of Justice out of Washington, D.C. working on the case with no attorneys from the Louisville area.
We're pleased to hear that, and we think that is necessary, that if you got the best to get in on this, you should do that.
The FBI also telling the group its investigation will still take some time, with the conclusion and findings not expected until 2021.
The forensics has been completed, and then now they're going through the data analysis, which could also include the audio and the visuals.
2X says he believes the FBI will be transparent throughout its investigation. His organization, Game Changers, plans to coordinate community interaction events so the public can hear directly from the FBI about the process. For the night team,
All right, we are black, right? So that you heard out of their own mouth was the fact that I gave you from what I called on the article. And you can see that this case seems to not really be over as much as it seemed to be over, right? And that there's a public outcry because, again, something just didn't mesh well at what we hearing through these tapes. So as I was getting prepared for tonight's show, I actually caught Daniel Cameron, Attorney General Daniel Cameron, on a Fox News morning broadcast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you in segments of that. And let's kind of go over what he's talking about. And based on what's been released, and let's just see what he's talking about here. So just in case you might have seen it, here's part one of this. Check this out and be right back.
Attorneys for Breonna Taylor's family calling for a new special prosecutor to reopen the case while slamming the Kentucky Attorney General for not pressing murder charges against the 3 officers involved. The attorneys writing in an open letter, quote, "You were biased throughout the process and intentionally deprived justice for Breonna and her family." That Kentucky Attorney General, Daniel Cameron, joins us right now to respond. General, good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve. Thank you for having me.
Are you surprised that the family is calling for a special prosecutor in this case?
Well, look, let me just say that in this case, I was the special prosecutor, but this is the Ben Crump model. He goes into a city, creates a narrative, cherry picks facts to establish, to prove that narrative, creates chaos in a community, misrepresents the facts, and then he leaves with his money and then asks the community to pick up the pieces. It is terribly irresponsible on his part to push such narratives, such falsehoods. As the Attorney General, I don't have the luxury of falsehoods. I have the responsibility to the truth, the law, and justice. Ben Crump can make wild accusations and ask for ridiculous things, but at the end of the day, we have dispensed with our responsibility and duty to present the information to the grand jury. We did that in a manner consistent with what the facts and the law are. That's, again, my responsibility as the Attorney General of the Commonwealth.
All right, so we're black, right? So that was Attorney General Daniel Cameron on Fox News in the morning. He was posed the question, right? He said, was he surprised that they're asking, that the family, Breonna Taylor's family, is asking for now to reopen this case? Now, I understand when you had to have a poker face, you got to keep that face. But after your hand been revealed, would it be out to ordinary based on what has been laid out now? That they're asking for now a special prosecutor to come in. And he asked him that question. But you see, he didn't answer that question, did he? He went around that, right? He even mentioned the fact that he's a special prosecutor. Like, well, I was already one, so why would you need another one? Because, you know, the job that you did was not too satisfactory. It seemed like you would think that the whole process was about the family was relying on you to do some justice work for them, but it seemed like that's not what you presented, because based on what you said in the conference, the press conference, you made it appear was a sleight of hand. You made it appear as that's what you were doing, but in actuality, that's not what they got. And so if you as your family and you've been in that situation, would you not want to reopen the station after all the stuff you done heard? All right. And so what he goes into the mode of, he's going to blame Benjamin Crump. Now, again, we're not here to support Benjamin Crump, because we kind of look at Benjamin Crump kind of like an ambulance chaser, right? You know, some people I heard talk about that he's kind of a black body monetization lawyer, right? Every time there's somebody in black body, here he come a running, him, and then there's the other one too, Lee Merritt as well. But the fact is, he's saying to get it off him is like, wait a minute, he believes that Ben Crump, this is a model that he uses, right? That he goes in, as he said, gets the money, and then leaves the town in shambles. But he just represents the family, right? The aftermath, right? He doesn't go in there and get the prosecutor and all that. Normally be the state, right? And so to try to twist this in a way to make it seem it's about Ben Crump would be a little bit disingenuous, right? And so he says that Benjamin Crump wants to create a narrative, right? Why he said cherry picking the evidence. Is that what this is? Is that what he's believing this is? That we're cherry picking those who have observed what has been put out here, and the family is requesting for a reopening. Is it based on the contradictions of what, let's say, the general media has put out here versus those of the black media and the black corner of YouTube and more, who have sifted through all the articles, presented and articulated it from their perspective and their understanding, right? And based on the evidence that's been laid out. And were there a lot of contradictions to based of the things that you stated? So right there, there's two sides of this that seem to don't match. You can't have two people thinking they're right. Somebody got to be wrong, right? And we understand in his position, he got to save face, right? He got no choice. He got to say that. So he says that these accusations that Ben Crump is positioned itself with, he calling them wild accusations, right? They wild accusations, right? Somebody in here trying their best to get me out of here, right? Okay, do what you got to do, man. The wild accusations is what he's saying. There's no, it's like black folks cannot, right? It is like when we see things from our perspective, it's as if like we don't understand truth. We don't understand right because of the position and the way that everybody's society, everybody wants to make cover on the things that you do. But then when we try to bring insight and show you that you're being slick about this, but we were able to see through that, right? We were able to see through it. And so these wild accusations that he wants to bring, it said, instead of presenting the information, again, that's what he's saying. He says present the information. Did he, in its entirety, present the facts to the case? Or did he present what he's holding steadfast to as what he says he's confident about? Okay? And so he said he was consistent with the facts of the case. Was he? Because how is it that Breonna Taylor, who ended up dying through what took place that night on March 13th, she's dead, Kenneth shoots, they shoot, but everybody goes home. And nothing is done, but the person who's outside, who's shooting nilly-willy, seems to be the one who we're going to bring charges on. And how did that get to that part anyway? How do you get there without dealing with what was at hand? So, was there consistency in the facts in the case? Stay tuned. We're going to get into that as well. So check this out. This was the second part of that interview. Check this out.
Right. And Mr. Cameron, what do you say to the people who continue to protest the decisions made in this case, and to the people who have done some rioting as well?
Well, look, I've stood up for peaceful protests since the beginning. You recognize that people will criticize decisions that are made. But at the end of the day, my responsibility is to the truth and to the law. We cannot, like some folks want to start with a conclusion and then just cherry pick facts to reach that conclusion. I don't have that luxury. My luxury is to make sure that all 120 counties in the Commonwealth of Kentucky are represented in this office, that the facts are gathered and that they are presented to the grand jury, which is what we did in this case. Look, again, at the end of the day, people, because they established a narrative before drawing the facts, are going to be upset. But I think most people recognize, because of the facts that have come out in this case, all of the facts that have come out, that the officers were justified in returning fire. Again, the tragedy is that Miss Taylor was hit in that return fire. But again, the responsibility of the Attorney General is to provide the information and the facts and give that to the grand jury for ultimately them to make the decision.
Well, it certainly was.
All right, so we are black, right? So that was, again, Daniel Cameron in his response to what was been posed to him, right? Now, again, we look at it like this, right? Remember they would say this, right? You were biased throughout the process and intentionally deprived justice for Breonna and her family. Say that again. You were biased throughout the process and intentionally deprived justice for Breonna and her family. This is the establishment. This is Fox News putting this out, right? I said an open letter to Kentucky governor on the AG Cameron, right? So are they trying to play the masses of people? They say the masses of asses, right? We the masses of asses. That we can't discern when somebody is pulling the wool on our eyes. Sometimes, say when you were little, say you got an older brother, sister, and you were little, okay? And the uncle come over. And the uncle gonna give each one of you $20. You get the oldest one a solid 20. No, I say the oldest one a solid 20. And get a second child 2 10s, right? Or, put it this way. You get the oldest 2 10, to give the second one 10 ones or 20 ones, and he give the baby one a solid 20. Now, the oldest one, you don't expect to do anything because why? He knows, or he or she knows better. They ain't, but sometimes you got older brothers that will take advantage, right? But we're just going to say the middle child, right? I would say the middle child is the one that's kind of a little wild, right? Dude's got kind of his own thing. So he see his baby brother, right? Baby brother got the solid 20. But the little brother who don't really understand the nominations of money, he just knows the fact that he got one, and the little brother or the older brother than him has $21, right? $21 bills. So the second one's like, for that one you got, I'll give you 5 of mine. Now, based on the little one not really understanding, comprehending the equation and denomination and the value of the money, he may think 5 single dollars compared to his $120 is sufficient in exchange. Do I need to say this again? Uncle come over to the house. Oldest one give him 2 10s. The middle one give him 21s, and the baby give a 20 solid 20. The baby one, not knowing and understanding, see, he got one bill, but it's still equivalent to each one that everybody got before him. But he or she don't understand that. I only got one. The middle child gonna be slick. I got $21, but I'm willing to give you 5 of my $1 for that one you got. And the little one will accept it, right? That's when you're a baby and you don't understand nothing. Then the oldest one come in and says, you know what? Give me back 5 and take it and give it back to him. And try and tell the other one it's the same as that and try to teach him. So, what's my analogy here? Black folks used to be at one time, you could do that to us. You could say anything you wanted, and we was the baby one with the one solid $20 bill. And then the middle child could come and, say anything and pose it to us, and guess what happens? You trick us. But the little one grows up and starts learning the game is how it goes. And what end up happening is what? You can't run the same game as you used to when I was naive and dumb. And so now what happened is that people can see the game and how you're manipulating, how you twist and turn it. But what you're going to do is you're going to reverse it and try to make it seem like there's something wrong with their process and that they got a narrative that what we see and what we understand is not the truth. That's what you want to tell us, right? So was it as they said that you see on your screen? Did that really happen? We don't know, right? Speculate, right? So what you've seen in that second part there is the fact that you even heard I forgot his name, the one that hosted the show for the Fox Morning. But he said there was so many things wrong in this case. Yeah, there was a lot of things wrong in this case. Especially that we done seen all the evidence according to what was presented. And the things that were presented to actually for a case that had nothing really to be doing with the origin of it. But there was a lot of connecting things inside of it that gave us an insight as to the other part that you didn't want to talk about. And procedures. A lot of things fell out. And people are seeing it. So, to say that he actually said, well, based on there were so many things wrong, people were insinuating there should be more charges than just one individual. Right? Based on all the things that fell out as this case opened up, when it talks about people trying to, come to people and ask them in exchange for, to, make this person be, accomplice to it. We have whether there's the whole situation about packages and what the Postal Service said. We have a contradiction when they talk about the person who was witness to hearing. Then there's a tape saying that they didn't hear. There's a lot of stuff that just don't match. Then it's the fact of when they talk about somebody being shot, and then the fact that somebody shot, but then what was they shot with? But we kept hearing this particular gun, but the gun there's two on the scene, that one is not even being recognized and acknowledged, but then even with that being said, it's not even the bullet that is even going to be the one that's shooting. And it's going to go in unison with everybody else who got the same gun. But we didn't see none of that, right? We didn't hear none of that. That was all a figure of our imagination. So what you're going to say is tragedy, tragedy, tragedy. It was a tragedy. Yeah, it was a tragedy. Say executed a warrant. Isn't it questionable about that warrant? It's very questionable about that warrant. Everybody know that. Very questionable about it. To say that Kenneth Walker had fired his gun, but that doesn't, okay. To say he fired, that's generalizing it. Did he shoot first? But according to your report, that's what y'all say. There's other stuff that said that Breonna had a gun and she was shooting. Then I hear reports talking about, well, shit, it was AR-615, 16 in there. They thought was going off. But they seen a 9mm. And they had to take away and recant that. No, we said that, but then they would show the gun, and then that had nothing to do with nothing. Right? So there's a lot of things that just not matching up. Just don't conclude. But we're not supposed to question none of that. Right? We're not smart enough as ever. Black folks ain't smart enough. We just been under, your oppression. Again, we sleep closest to you than anybody else around. And you think that out of all this time, we don't understand how you move? Or because our diction may not be like your diction, and way we again have to be living in the redesign and redlining, and then the way you write the scripts for us to have to act and be according to the way of your institutions. I keep telling you, I think y'all get to the point that you find it out, you probably don't really know them. And so he goes on and says that the fact that the justice system is inadequate to handle a case like this. Now he's blaming the justice system. It's inadequate to handle this. What you mean? If it happened to me, I'm pretty sure you find something to get me with. And anybody else like me, right? Oh, you're going to leave up out of here, huh? So y'all got me where I'm by myself, right? This is funny, man. Truth, man. The truth don't need no partner. So they say that, the law, justice is inadequate to handle such a case. And that the fact that the person that we're going to hold accountable is going to be the person who's outside shooting, but not in the apartment where Breonna. We're going to talk about somebody shoot somewhere else, about the endangerment of a man, a woman with a baby, and her child. Well, I think the woman is pregnant, and then the child. So that's taking more precedence over the fact that you got Miss Breonna Taylor laying dead in her apartment. If everything is in its place, then everything could be laid out accordingly to how it is. You lay the card down. I can trump everything that you're saying. Was the warrant 100? Lay the card down. Was there post office and then they found the drugs? Lay the card down. Right? Did you announce it? Did you not announce? Lay the card down. Right? Was all them fine from the outside? Was just more than 3 inside? Lay the cards down. The problem, you don't want to lay the cards down. So you want to play with people's intelligence. You want to make people feel like that what they see, they don't understand, and let me give you the play-by-play so that you can understand what I'm trying to tell you. That's an old game, man. I mean, come on. Like I said, like the 3 children, right? You have, again, going back to the analogy with the 3 children. Uncle come over, give the oldest one 2 10s, give the second one $21 bills, and give the baby a solid 20. the middle child can trick the baby one because he got 20 single dollars and tell him I'm going to give you 5 for the 1. But we done grew up now. You know what I'm saying? We're not the kid anymore where you could just keep doing that. And y'all not understanding that. But then you want to be angry at us because what we're doing is we're going to say, you know what? You're trying to pull wolves on our eyes, man. We see it. And so he goes in and his consolation is the fact that he says, well, you know, there's still this case pending with the FBI and there's a civil rights matter. Wait a minute. Was there not a criminal element in the mishap of what took place? Was there? Everybody doing their part, but the main part seems to have somehow got cut out. It's like going back to when I did those who might have been around and seen the Trayvon Martin 3-minute mystery. Remember, there was a 3-minute mystery in the Trayvon Martin case where they kept saying that Trayvon could have ran home. Well, I solved that. The reason why Trayvon couldn't run home is because George Zimmerman was trailing him the whole time. From the time he seen him coming in between the building, he was there, as he said, he was on his way to go to Target, and he trailed him. Say he moseying, walking around, looked like he lost. Well, how could he say all that if he's supposed to be parked ahead of him, waiting for him to pass him? He was trailing him the whole time. And then when he pulled in, Trayvon seen him pull in, Trayvon took the hell off. You hear him jump out the vehicle. Operator says, what? Are you following him? Oh, you don't need you to follow him. He goes back. He got away. Got back in the car. Then what he does, he go back again. But that whole 3 minutes that taking place, you cut all that out and you went over there to the Lowers and the T section. That's where we're going to start from. We're not even going to talk about that. See, the game got played with us, man. How they play the game with us. So anyway, here's the next part in that conversation that happened on Fox Morning News, right? Yeah, go there. Check this out. I'll be right back, y'all.
Right. And Mr. Cameron, what do you say to the people who continue to protest the decisions made in this case, and to the people who have done some rioting as well?
Well, look, I've stood up for peaceful protests since the beginning. You recognize that people will criticize decisions that are made. But at the end of the day, my responsibility is to the truth and to the law. We cannot, like some folks want to start with a conclusion and then just cherry pick facts to reach that conclusion. I don't have that luxury. My luxury is to make sure that all 120 counties in the Commonwealth of Kentucky are represented in this office, that the facts are gathered and that they are presented to the grand jury, which is what we did in this case. Look, again, at the end of the day, people, because they established a narrative before drawing the facts, are going to be upset. But I think most people recognize, because of the facts that have come out in this case, all of the facts that have come out, that the officers were justified in returning fire. Again, the tragedy is that Miss Taylor was hit in that return fire. But again, the responsibility of the Attorney General is to provide the information and the facts and give that to the grand jury for ultimately them to make the decision.
Well, it certainly was.
All right, we are black, right? So, as you heard again from Attorney General Daniel Cameron, right? And it's talking about the continuum of the protesting and those who are writing about the aftermath of the case and what done fell out through the audio that we got from the grand jury, right? So, to hold the protesters accountable when everybody is not or have taken that decision and understand that there's a lot of holes in it. So to say that they have the right to protest rightfully and then kind of say, well, if you get violent and stuff, then that's breaking the law. But aren't the laws being broken in the case of what we've seen being presented is the question. Right? And then those who are writing the article are only writing according to what is being presented through those audios that contradicts what had been told publicly. So you being the one who presented the case, aren't you the one responsible for all that? So he says he's standing on truth, law. That's all we're asking for, right? Those people who are associated and who those, again, Black Minds Media and the Black Minds News of the Black Corner of YouTube, those who will continue to do these stories, well, that's what we're all talking about, truth and law. We know that what truth is, we just don't understand what law means. Law is what we told, but we don't know what law is because law keeps changing because it's like it's another book. It's like when you come to the court, it's like, hold on, get the other book. It's in the back. Go back in the back, get the other book. Not this book. You got another book for you, right? So we understand truth because, again, who we are and what we cut from, who we are representatives of. We know truth. The problem is a lot of people don't like our truth because it don't go with your narrative. It exposes, it cuts. It's like a double-edged sword. It cuts. No matter how you try to hold it, it's going to cut. And so what then happens is it ain't cutting and it's putting damage on you. So what you want to do is, so they say that we started a narrative. We were starting a narrative. Did we start a narrative? No, we didn't start the narrative. We took what was being presented. And see, the thing is, some people don't think that we as black people, black American descendants of slaves, we have been through too much as black people in this country. We come from those of what people would say survivors. We went through everything your ass threw at us. We went through being on in these plantations, calling ourselves being emancipated, having nowhere to go. Then you talking about, okay, we're going to free you. And then what you're going to do is make a deal with the ones that you said you had a civil war with, let them get back into it and say, well, you niggas go back down there and work for them. We're going to make a contract and they're going to promise to pay you. And then the peonage is going to start somewhere. And then we're going to let them write the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment and we're going to work this out. And we've been enduring the whole damn time. We've been going through all this shit the whole damn time. But you will not look in the mirror and say that maybe something we've been doing wrong. That's never going to be in the minutes out your mouth. It's going to be reverse psychology and make you feel like somehow what you see, again, watching sports and somebody giving you the play-by-play. Like they told with Rodney King. Remember in 1992, they said, all right, you see what you see. But the videotape is not telling you everything. Let me tell you what you see, as if my eyes are lying to me. That's how they look at us, man. You got lying eyes. Right? Your eyes be lying to you. So, saying that we as the public establish a narrative. No, there was several narratives, right? They said there's one side, there's another side, and then there's the truth, right? Because you had people who came out here who were saying some of the most outlandish, wildest things that people were concocting, saying that, Kenneth Walker took Breonna and used it as a shield. You had some people say, they had the wrong house. Some people say, because she was with it and had a dead body in the car. They use all these talking points, but they don't want to say the facts of it. They want to spin a narrative to try to paint somebody a certain way. Anything to get off will start with A. Let's start with A. No. We're going to talk about B, C, D. What happened to A? What happened to A? No. We don't want to talk about A. A doesn't matter. All right, so we ain't going to talk about A. So everybody had a narrative. I seen somebody do a rant, a female. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Went in this whole thing. It's all been a lie. It's all been a lie. Everything she meant to say, the little rat. Ratting this shit off, huh? Just, where you you at today talking? Now that all the shit doesn't get out, where you at today? I don't hear. Hello? Hello? Where's she at today? She ain't talking today. Mum's the word. Where everybody at? Can't find them now. You know why? Because the facts done fell out. But I seen somebody the other day on somebody's show doing a live, and the narrative that you want to paint is you want to make the victim not the victim, that the victim is actually the aggressor. It's the victim's fault. It's kind of like the same thing when you look at we as black American descendants of slaves in this land. You know, a lot of our people, they got a problem with, I ain't no victim. I ain't no victim. I ain't no victim. What the hell you mean you ain't no victim? Tell me when it stopped. Tell me when it stopped. Tell me. You know, there's, these people, they call this, they bougies, the black elites and all that because you got $200,000 to get you, now you better than everybody. You're proud and your nose all up in the damn air. See, the problem is you got to go into class. So you go from race to class because you can't get white. Let me say that again. You go from race to class because you can't turn white like other people who get that honorary white. Let's just say like they got the Italians became white, the Jews became white, the Chinese became white, the Hispanics became white. But see, you as a black person can't come to be white. You can't change your uniform. So what you do, you change your ideology, you change your mindset, you do all that stuff, right? Right? And then you say, I'm class. We don't talk about that race. It's a figure of your imagination. It's just a construct. As if somehow it done changed. Go back to the Dred Scott situation. Dred Scott, the whole situation told you. They never could get around that. It's still in effect. But we just don't talk about it. Right? We don't talk about it no more. Because why? It's not good topic to make other people feel uncomfortable. Make other people feel uncomfortable because you're seeing things that makes me feel fragility of mind and make me feel guilty. Oh, fuck it. Let me feel guilty and you take the oppression that I live in. Let me say that again. Fuck that shit. You say because you got fragility of damn mind, while I got to take the bear of the bullshit of your shit, and you think that the exchange because I feel guilty. I'm feeling the bullshit of what you keep putting on me. What about that? What about that part? Oh, that don't count. No, that don't count at all. No, that don't even count. So anyway, so he said he presented all the facts. Did you? Did you present all the facts? I got a video that said that of the recordings, there's a fact in there that talked about the gun. There was a gun. We're talking about a 40 caliber Glock 22. What's that about? What is the Glock 40 caliber 22 about? You ain't heard, better go to hear it. If you ain't heard about it, better go listen to it. Go and listen to that. So then everything that you have presented has not been the facts. It cannot, but you're going to say that. We understand politically correct. We understand that you got to do what you got to do. We get that. We get that. But the fact of the matter is, no, everything was not presented. But in the end, I understand. But again, me being a black American descendant of slave and slavery, certain people say that we're wrong because we try to take on for other people when things happen to them. They say, what connection do you got with that? The connection in my family is when you talk about the history of black American descendant slaves in this land. That's what connects us all. We all family in that. Now, other people from other places, the diaspora, they want to connect, but I think we got them a half 1,000 years here. So something about a half 1,000 years or more here. Make it a little bit different. So it becomes about origin of nations where you're, your diaspora and then those who they birth after that. That's what separates us. We being here. So we understand the game here better than most. And so what happens is people like myself and others who we stay focused on that, We become ostracized because why? All we doing is just trying to make sure, hey man, don't y'all see what it is? Right? Try to be a friend. Hey man, don't you want to have a partner that tell you, hey man, you fucking up, man. Bruh, you fucking up. You ain't right. Or you just like, don't say nothing. Just let the nigga do whatever, he crazy. Huh? And then somehow not understanding that everything that's happening, unless it's part of some diabolical plan, that something is happening that is trying to balance this shit somehow. Because, you know, some people want to run the shit till the wheels fall off, and that somehow this that we've been going through, as long as it stay that way, we're comfortable. But the other people, well, shit, find your way. So you got our people who get sick of mine and think that somehow, if I build my own and get my own, I'll give you a better analogy. How about if you was in hell? Say hell is 1,000 degrees. You trying to find a comfortable spot in hell. You trying to find somewhere in hell with 998 degrees. And you say, it's better than 1,000 degrees. That's how it's better than 1,000 degrees. It's Mr. Blows Your Mind. It's not that bad. From whose perspective we talking from? Huh? We can't see that there's two different things going on here. There's the sign over here. You know how back at one time it was white folks over here, black folks over there. Now that you don't put the sign up there, it's moms don't say, but it's just kind of, what's it, spoken without saying. And then because of the new ones that come here, they don't really understand that. Then you see sometimes on these, you see the videos, you see the young ones out here, and they talking, I know my rights. You police, I know my rights. I'm sitting there like, boy, we ain't talking about being scared. We're not talking about being scared. Now, that ain't what I'm saying. I'm just saying, your book is in the back, in the trunk. He ain't got the book that he talking about ain't the one that he got. It's in the trunk. Give him ice and ID, let you go on about your long head. All that trying to do, because you see other people doing videos, gonna cost you. Gonna cost you. Matter of fact, didn't that brother the other day, what was that place in Texas, was sitting on motherfucking Twitter, talking about all that shit, talking about something. I love white cops. I ain't anti-cop. Call itself breaking up a damn fight. Cops come. Get what I'm saying? So anyway. So, get to this other part on here. That he's talking about right here. So check this out, y'all. Be right about back right after this. Check this out.
People are going to continue to talk about it. In fact, your name was depicted on Saturday Night Live this past weekend, and during a musical performance, the singer mentioned you as well. We're going to play this and then get your reaction. Watch.
Daniel Cameron is no different than the sellout Negroes that sold our people into slavery by statute. We need to protect our black women and love our black women, because at the end of the day, we need our black women.
Attorney General?
Well, let me just say I agree that we need to love and protect our black women. There's no question about that. But the fact that someone would get on national television and make disparaging comments about me because I'm simply trying to do my job is disgusting. But it's not the first time we see this, and it certainly won't be the last time we see this. At the end of the day, my responsibility is to provide facts and truth and represent and stand up for justice. I think what you saw there in that display is someone who instead wants to fashion facts to a narrative. That narrative is simply not true in this particular case with Miss Taylor. Again, it is a tragedy what happened to her, but what you saw on the screen there and what your viewers saw is something that I've had to experience because I'm a black Republican, because I stand up for truth and justice as opposed to giving in to a mob mentality. And those are the sorts of things that will be hurled at me in this job. Those are the sorts of things that I've heard when I was in college. Again, because I identify with a different political philosophy, and therefore that shades the way people view me. The fact that a celebrity that I've never met before wants to make those sorts of statements They don't hurt me, but what it does, it exposes the type of intolerance that people and the hypocrisy, because obviously people preach about being tolerant. You see a lot of that from the left about being tolerant, but what you saw there is inconsistent with tolerance. In fact, it's her espousing intolerance because I've decided to stand up for truth and justice. But what I will tell you is there are a lot of folks that look like me that aren't scared anymore, that are tired of the comments and the derogatory remarks that are made because of our political philosophy. And so enough is enough. We're going to continue to stand up and stand up for truth and justice in this job and in everything else that we do in this country.
Well, sir, we've had lots of questions for you over the last couple of weeks. We thank you very much for dropping by Fox and Friends. Attorney General for the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Daniel Cameron. Sir, thank you very much.
All right, we black, right? So, once again, you heard Attorney General Daniel Cameron, and you heard that little dissertation he said there, right? So, you see that he said that his name was depicted on the Saturday Night Live, right? I ain't watched Saturday Night Live, and I don't know how so damn long. I don't watch that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's not my type of comedy. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, take it for how you want it. But anyway, I see that Meg Stallion was on there, and I already knew about the Tamika Mallory, right? What she said. I think I done played that over here as well. And so I guess there was that performance, and she said what she had to say, right? And she threw that in there, and being national TV, I'm pretty sure if you could have been a fly in white folks' house, they'd be like, you understand? They were like, what the fuck? Did they just say savages? Did they say fucking savages? You know what I'm saying? You know, they was like, what the fuck is going on here, right? So anyway, but you know, word spread to him. Daniel, did you see Saturday Night Live? Did you see it? That Meg the Stallion, yeah, right? So they depicted him as, again, to get his attention, right? Why is it that our folks that do this know what you doing and then think that somehow we ain't gonna say anything or just gonna, we ain't say what you should go pull in your card, say, I would say pull your card, right? It used to be what I want to say what Eazy-E was saying, right? Back in the day we were talking about, don't talk of that mess, be pull your card. But anyway, so the fact is, they wanted to depict to get the message out because in disagreements, what has been done here, right? Disagreements, man. You did what you felt. You said, well, this is my job. Where we hear that all the time. It's just my job. That's your job. But see, there's always a conflict of interest. The other day I did a show when it's talking about do black cops sell out? It was talking about really about chief police, right? That when they put a black cop in a position in a police station, and then they went through the whole litany of why they put black cops to be chiefs in institution with white cops that is 80%, 70% white and male, and then put the HNIC there, right? And then he's got a tightrope trying to figure out how to, the black ones having problems, and then you can't really discipline the other ones, and then the community, and it's like you're trying to teeter-totter, right? And the only that happens is because the dissatisfaction of the community, black community, say, hey man, I thought brother, they be brother, what's up, brother? But what you end up getting is, remember in Boys in the Hood, was you a rolling 30? Were you cuz? I hate your black skin. Remember that cat? So he was like, man, we ain't sell. I said, no, y'all ain't sell out. It's just, think of the history, right? Think about the history of the origin of police. and how it evolved. It used to be patty roll. Remember they used to label our ancestors when they tried to run up off that damn plantation, what they called it? Drapetomania. Look it up. Drapetomania. What does Drapetomania mean? A nigga don't want to be a slave no more trying to run. They classify that shit as goddamn psychological, something wrong with your ass because you were trying to get the fuck off the goddamn plantation. Ain't that something? You got something mental problem, something wrong with you. You don't want to, huh? So the evolving of that, we've been there since the inception of it. Then it evolved and it became this and got a badge and got a gun and a cop and rolling our neighborhoods all the damn time. We seeing us all. So we understand how the game go. Now those on the other side, this be your family members. This be your children, your daddies, your uncles. And then they come back with these stories. I said this the other day. I'm going to say it again. And y'all remember that cartoon they used to come on called Colonel McBragg? There was in the jungle, riding in my nice shiny car. What you see, sir? I seen Negroes everywhere. Can you imagine that somebody got all that damn luggage and then had their job is to be amongst you and riding around like that and seeing you and thinking that it's, you know, like a kid in the candy shop. Oh my God, which one do I want? And then think that somehow this ain't gonna manifest and do the things that it do? Is that how we looking at that? Come on, man. And then so you put the one in the position and think somehow that gonna change. Just like putting that one in the damn White House. Everybody crying, the first black president. He just doing massa business. Him just doing massa business. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Oh, we made it now. What you mean we made it? We made what? Matter of fact, he ain't cut like you. Well, we boy, huh? Just want to be in the damn position because it sound good on my resume. But when you in the position, can you have race, pride, and beef with your people? Because it's like every time that when we in these positions that's supposed to be of power, why is it we always got to make this kind of damn statement? I'm for all people. I'm not for black people. I'm for all the people. But you'll never see them have to say that. They just do what they do. Because why? It's massive business. Don't be mad because I say that. What you mad about? It's just the truth. It's just the truth, like he said. So now that the people sitting in there say they want to peg you, well, you being in that position, let's think of it like this. School's an institution, right? So here you is, knee high to a grasshopper, going into kindergarten. You got somebody teacher in there, seeing what kind of Kool-Aid your ass drink. Oh, that one, Mr. Blows Your Mind. He drinking the Kool-Aid. Right? So you getting A's. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, high school, college. Shit, you drink all the Kool-Aid we give, huh? Pick him. He'll be a good one. He ain't gonna bite the hand that feed us. He don't see himself like that. Well, everybody remember seeing that movie Trick Baby? Remember that Trick Baby when he's sitting at the table? Those Negroes down there, you know, they just you get one of them, you get him, and so you get him where he don't want to be like the rest of them anymore. Remember Trick Baby? When he supposed to be the white cat, supposed to be like a black dude, but he was mucking around white folks, coming back and telling us ear hustling and coming back telling us, right? Right? So that's how we kind of learned that a little bit, somewhat. But that's how it goes. So you know, you are primed and pruned and picked amongst the litters of who they gonna put in position, because they kept telling us he's gonna be a star. He's gonna be a star Republican. So now you got our people who battle it. I'm Republican. I'm conservative. I'm all this. Niggas, one bird, two wings. Two different objectives of doing the same as. Remember, I told you what happened to our ancestors. What happened after 1863? So-called emancipators put us in a de facto state. We was not citizens. Remember that. Then we got money, put our money in those what they call them, the freedmen banks, collapsed the damn banks, and then said, well, you know what? Why don't you go back down there and down there and work for him? You're gonna turn into sharecroppers. He's gonna pay you. been trick bagging us the whole damn time. Huh? This is what they did with our ancestors. They said, hey, Frederick Douglass, you know, the niggas is going to do a bank run. They're going to take all the fucking money up out of that. We need you to sell it to them. What do you want me to do? Put $10,000 in the bank. $10,000? Yeah, put $10,000 in the damn bank for us. Frederick Douglass put $10,000 in the bank to tell black people to say that the Freedmen Bank wasn't going to collapse. Always get somebody put in the position. Now, am I saying that Frederick Douglass was a seller and all that? Take it to how you want to take it. I'm just telling you what that's the history said. But I'm just saying that that's what happens. They always get somebody, prop them in front of us, and then somehow we feel elated as if like this person going to represent us. Is there such thing? Can you be in massive system, in a position, and think that somehow it going to fare well with you? No matter what he sit on that TV and say. He said that he kind of say, well, they're tired of it. His kind just like him. And then he said something that was funny. He said, ever since I was in college, they was calling me that. Wait, shit, college? That means high school. That means grade school. That means in the neighborhood. And little kids, I could see it. He's going to be one of them, ain't he? You can't be mad at us, man. We just done seen this movie too many damn times. And so y'all can't be mad at us because we're sitting here saying, look, man, do you see this? Do you see that? Don't be mad at us. You should be like, shit, niggas getting smart. Y'all said we ain't had no IQ. We 3/5 of a human being. Shit, if they 3/5 of a human being and they ass like that, shit, what happens if they whole? Oh, we don't want to see that. We don't want to see that at all. So, that's what he said, right? So anyway, you tell me what y'all think, man. I ain't gonna get no more of that. That's enough of that. Because I can't understand how somebody think that what you said in that conference and then what been put out here, and then now you see that the grand jurors coming out and say, hey, that ain't what he said. This ain't what was done. And then gonna keep trying to tell us and say, oh, we're just trying to come up with our own narrative. As if we can't read, we can't discern, we can't put 1 + 1 is 2. That's how lowly they think of us. Now, some of you, and I ain't saying particularly those who win here, but I'm just saying, some of us, that's how we look at our own people, because again, you got to think, who else is holding our head down? Who else amongst us? Now, let's say uniforms. If uniforms is an indicator to know what team you on, sometimes you got somebody who wearing the same uniform, but you don't know they on another team. And so they play the game with us. And then they say, oh, we're going to represent for you. We're the talented 10th. Okay? We're smarter. We're educated. We know. You're just a regular nigger. They're not going to listen to you. But they're going to listen to me because I'm kundallah. All that stuff, right? And then making secret deals and then sitting there telling us, you better vote or die. If you don't vote, you're not. Wait a minute. Do you know who we are, where we come from? We done been through every damn catastrophe that you can name in the country. Wars, famine, disease, plantations, overseers, different owners, you name it, we been there. Hey, what you talking about, man? We ain't new to this. Well, if Trump gets back in there, the guy's gonna die. Shit. Been how many in there? 40, 44, 45? 45 and one that supposedly looked like, but he wouldn't cut like you anyway. What the hell been the difference? Ain't been no damn difference. But it's got to keep playing the game so that you buy into it. So he willing to do it. He was willing to do it. Okay. He just got married. You see, y'all seen the you see little Buffy he had, right? Seen the Buffy he had, right? Somebody was saying that she was kin to Mitch McConnell, but I don't know how true that was. Mitch McConnell was in Kentucky too. I think he was a protege of Mitch McConnell, right? So why everybody gonna be at? Because we want to look under the skirt. We want to look under the sheet to see what's going on. I'm gonna just say this, and I'm gonna get myself up out of here. I appreciate each one of y'all up in here. Hopefully that you stay, come back, and subscribe and do all that good stuff. I'm the most hated show on the Black Corner of YouTube. That's why you ain't never heard of me. I've been in the business since 2012 and can't get 150. I can't even get 50 views, 100 views. I used to get 300,000 views, 50,000, They said, shit, I made this one video called White Extinction. Now, again, I wasn't talking about killing no damn body. I was just telling the reports about what it said. They went on a straight attack. This guy would never be heard. So you who come across and you hear me, you probably, where the hell this nigga been? Because I've been down here since 2012, down at the valley, yelling up. Because they ain't trying to let me get up. Right? So anyway, if you want to help, subscribe, hit that notification, hit that bell, you do all that good stuff. Comment, go all that other stuff. Anyway, it's just what it is, y'all, man. We're going to take it for what it is. Ain't nobody need to be mad about it. We're just curious, right? We're curious. Hey, what really went down? Now, the thing is, I'm going to just say this. When that $12 million was given to the family, you know how they got these contracts in the fine print? And remember, they came out with that one statement. They said, this is how I know. Regardless to whatever the FBI for to come and determine, mark my words. Even all the stuff that done fell out, that's the end of this. Because they said, we will not admit guilt. We will not admit guilt. Once that was said and you signed on the dotted line and took that 12, everything else is just now going, it's just going to be a play game. We're just going to play it with us. That's it. And so what we're going to do is let this simmer down because the FBI done said 2021, we could probably have this resolved. Shit, we about 2 months away from that, but that don't mean necessarily January. You can go all the way back to December again. That'll be a year. By that time, how many more cases we gonna be dealing with and going through and all that other stuff? Then the fact that we're gonna have to be still dealing with this vaccination, that's gonna be an issue too. So anyway, but again, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming over here. I am the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. And before I get up out of here, give y'all one more taste. I'm a man on the corner with a cup in my hand asking you for something. Check it out. I'll be right back. All right, Falcon L in the house. Falcon L555, the play. What do you mean the play, brother? What are you talking about? You redact that other message. I didn't catch that one. I was over here into what I was doing. What was that message you said? What you talking about the play, bro? Before I get up out of here, what you talking about? Are you talking about the play they doing? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, that's really probably what it is. It's no doubt about it, right? We as those on the outside, right? We spectators, and we looked at this game the way they've been playing it, and we feel some kind of way. We feel for the whole situation. Some of us are able to be intuitively see through all the monotonous that they've been showing, right? But again, according to what was signed on that dotted line to take the money, then, you know, there's a little brother out here that I think he's going to be a martyr. I don't know if y'all might know what I'm talking about. I don't put his name out there yet because he's been putting the information out. He say he got a lot of stuff that he's trying to do, but my thing is, I don't know how you going to, you know, he wants to go to the Supreme Court, right? He want to take it to the Supreme Court. You know, what was that movie that Mos Def was in with what was his name? What that white cat that Die Hard or whatever his name? Bruce Willis was in it. Remember that? That's what he gonna have to try to do to get in that damn courtroom if he could ever get there. But we don't know how that's gonna go. So anyway, again, I want to appreciate everybody, and I don't have a specific time because if I do that, then they be trying to, you know, cut me off like they're doing right now. And I got some stuff up here saying stuff right now. So anyway, appreciate every one of y'all. This is the most hated show in the black corner. And to the next show, y'all. And to the next show.